Safety is paramount in labs at McMaster. In undergrad labs, this includes, but is not restricted to, the safety of the environment, the equipment, and the personal safety of you, your team, and the public. If you have any concerns, bring them to the attention of the TAs and the lab technicians. For the 2A03 surveying labs, there are some specific hazards that need to be addressed. You are expected to be prepared for them. In case of emergency, inform your TAs and lab technicians immediately. You can contact emergency services via telephone in the Applied Dynamics lab by dialing 88. You can also use a cell phone by calling 905-522-4135. We do not require you to wear safety shoes or hard hats for these labs, but appropriate clothing and footwear are required. Open-toe shoes, sandals, slippers, or similar are not allowed. If you are not clothed appropriately, you will not be allowed to participate in the labs. All of the surveying labs are held outdoors. This can introduce some unusual variables into the lab environment that you will typically not experience in other labs. For instance, in some lab modules, it's a long way to a washroom or a water fountain. You must be prepared for the weather. Heavy rain and lightning will cause the lab to be cancelled and rescheduled, but the lab will go on as scheduled in most other weather conditions. Dress for the heat, humidity, rain, and sunshine. Be sure to take water with you to prevent dehydration and overheating. Later in the term, cold temperatures, wind, and sometimes snow will come into play. Also, afternoon labs held late in the term will have to deal with the setting sun and approaching darkness. Traffic is not normally something you have to deal with in labs, but it is here. To get to and from your lab locations, you will at times need to cross roads and areas with heavy traffic. Your labs will be set up in areas with traffic hazards. In Lab 1, for instance, you will be working in a parking lot. If you are kneeling or crouching down, it can be difficult for a driver to see you. Lab equipment left on the ground is even more difficult to see. Don't leave it in the road. Set everything off to the side when not in use. Keep in mind that when it is time to go home, a lot of drivers have their minds elsewhere and may not pay sufficient attention to what is going on around them as they drive. A fairly unique lab hazard to the surveying labs is the helicopter pad. The helicopter pad itself is entirely off limits. If there is a problem, take it up with the lab technician. They will deal with it. If a helicopter should need to take off or land, the lab will be paused for the duration. The downwash from the helicopter's rotors can throw debris quite a distance at a high velocity. While the rotors are turning, you will set down the equipment and move away from the pad. The lab technician will let you know when you're far enough away. The lab will resume when the rotors either stop moving or the helicopter has left. You will also be working around the Applied Dynamics lab. This area should be considered a construction site, with all of the hazards that go along with it. Hazardous areas will be clearly marked and fenced off. Do not enter them. All construction activity will have been halted and shut down in any areas you need to work in, so that is something you will not need to deal with. Having said that, watch for debris, trip hazards, or anything else that may have been overlooked. Bring anything of concern to the attention of the TAs or lab technicians. The lab equipment itself has some risks. Tripods and range poles have sharp, pointed ends and can be awkward to handle. Be careful when carrying them. Keep them tucked in close to your body, and watch out when you turn so that they don't hit people or things around you. Leveling rods extend to 5 meters in height when extended. Be sure they don't come into contact with any power lines. That could make for a very bad day. Also, watch out for tree branches. Keep in mind, a fully extended leveling rod is not exactly stable, so don't let it fall. Some other environmental factors come into play when you are working outside. There could be biting or stinging insects. At best a nuisance, at worst a serious concern if you're allergic to them. There are known areas with poison ivy and or poison oak. All of these are well signed, but it is safer if you do not go into a non-groomed area where the grass is not cut, or off the beaten path, so to speak. For some people, there will be seasonal allergy risks. If you feel it necessary, please inform your TAs and the lab technician if this is an issue for you. Fun fact, there are animals in the environment. Deer, dogs, groundhogs, geese, ducks, rabbits, the list goes on, may have defecated on the ground. Be careful where you put your hands and knees when you squat or kneel down. Do not touch or approach any animal. If it is acting strangely, inform your TAs and the lab technicians. Overall, there are some hazards associated with labs, but by following the rules, protocols, and procedures, and being aware of your surroundings, these hazards will be mitigated.